over time. Gotta
Nice.
drink a lot of tea though.
What's
We're
that?
live. It's Tuesday.
Oh,
It's been a while, but we're
really?
back. AttackTheAndroids.com/live. Check it out. Join us if you'd like on IRC chat room there and all that. Eric's got some tea. Nick's got some coffee. This is good. Good to see you, gents. Well caffeinated.
Yes.
AttackTheAndroids.com/live. Join us there if you want.
Our timekeeper in the chat room is telling us that it's 9:01 Eastern Time. Thank you. It's very good.
They're coming for you. Prepare for the attack of the android.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Tuesday, January 20th, 2015. This is episode 144 of Attack of the Androids. Every Tuesday, right here, attacktheandroids.com/live. Check it out. I'm Matt Lee. That dude, that's Eric. Eric F. What's up, Eric?
Not much, Matt. Welcome back. Happy New Year and all that stuff.
Also joining us, Nick Carroll. What's happening, Nick?
Hey, glad to be back. Long time no see, you two.
Hell yeah. All sorts of stuff. Just got back from CES last week. A lot of cool stuff there. What should we start out with? You have in the doc the new Avangant Glyph. They showed off their final hardware design over at CES. This was actually one of the things I got to kind of play with. It wasn't like a planned thing or anything. I ended up out at this little airfield where they were doing DJI drone test flights. They had the Aspire, and the old Phantoms there and stuff. So there was a couple other major websites like they're reporting it and covering it, and I just got to kind of hang out. But one of the things they had there, the Glyph, the Avangant guys were there, and they had the new version. And they had it hooked up to one of DJI's Aspire drones. So you put this thing on, and like it's basically like last year's, the one we actually reported on and told you guys about. It's got a wider field of view and better resolution. Basically, other than that, it's the same thing. But that wider view, like when it's on a drone, it's pretty insane. It feels like you're kind of flying when you first you put it on and it's showing you what the drone sees, and then you make the drone take off, and your stomach it kind of goes wee. It's pretty cool though.
That's outstanding. So this was like how was it connected to the drone? Was the was it the what do you call it, like the remote? Did it have like HDMI out or something, or?
Yeah, I want to say this one was wireless, but I don't think it was wireless. It was probably plugged into the tablet, which was being held by the controller of the drone.
Yeah, we actually covered this last year about this time. It was the Kickstarter, and I guess it got funded. I haven't kept too much track of it, but it looks like a pretty cool VR headset. Although, I mean, it looks like like one of these did that. I mean, it looks kind of weird, but yeah.
Well, and did you get a sense of the like the audio quality? I don't know if there was any audio going with the drone or not.
No, I didn't personally.
Okay.
It didn't really look like what's here. Like I think it was just a different one, maybe. Like the full Glyph that the consumer can go buy that has the headphones and stuff. This thing, it kind of looked more like an Oculus. Like it didn't have headphones or anything. It was just the visor, the viewer. So
you know what? They have another device that so this company originally started out with the thought that they were going to develop technology for the military, and
right.
So okay, here it is. So it's called the Avangant, the Jellyfish video glasses.
Jellyfish, that's what it's called. That's the one I saw.
Oh, okay. So I'm shit. Now I'm a little disappointed because you were talking about how the video quality, wider field of view. I hope that's something that they put into the final Glyph design.
Oh, I'm sure.
Well,
I would like to think
that's very cool.
It will be.
Yeah, it does look like it's more of a theater, like a theater on your face type of
Yeah.
device. You know, and they're kind of doing that with DK2 for the Oculus, is they have like a little program where you can sort of pretend you're at a theater and you can watch a movie. You can even put your own movies on it and sort of watch it either as if you're in a theater, or you could change the scenery. Like one of the scenes that you can use for the Oculus is like you're on the moon watching a movie. So I suspect maybe in the future we might see something like that for the Glyph, or something beyond that. But it looks like it's more focused towards watching movies, you know.
Well, let me tell you why I'm excited and why I'm going to get this. Because, like you're saying, Nick, like, you know, the whole like theater on your face thing, um, you're going to be able to plug this in to your devices. So, like, I could do like a my Shield tablet has I think it's, what is it, mini HDMI or
Yeah,
micro HDMI.
yeah,
So
MHL or
I would
something. Yeah.
I could plug this stupid thing into that, and I could, if I'm sitting on a plane, I could watch movies and stuff. I don't have to, have all the weird, crap going around me. And then if I want to, let's say, work on something, and I don't really, there's not really a lot of room on airplanes where you can have the laptop, you know, with the screen up. I could have the screen down a little bit and use the Avignon Glyph as the monitor. Like, this thing seems a lot like the Oculus seems very interesting for like gaming specifically, but for everyday use, this seems like a better device to me.
Yeah, and one of the things I was just looking, I just posted the AOTA 114 link in our chat, and it shows the first prototype or working model of the Glyph, and it's actually a lot more crude looking than the one they showed at CES, but it looks like advanced a little bit. It does actually look like actually a pretty modern set of headphones that you do this with, so it looks cool. So I'd say right now it actually looks better than the Oculus.
It
So
kind of looks like a set of Beats almost.
Well,
It,
there's an article, I think it was this might be the one I threw in the doc by Mobile Syrup, and they were saying the person who wrote this, Daniel Bader, was saying that the sound quality on the headphones was even up to par with expensive headphones. So
yeah.
it's not like they even skimped there. Like, it's pretty cool.
This this little airstrip here, that's the one I was at in the Engadget article. The one that's on that guy's face, like that's the
cool.
setup.
But where are you, Matt Lee?
I'm not in that picture.
Come on.
There's actually, I tossed a video up that I think one of the DJI guys shared of the drone and everything, and you can see me wandering around a couple times in that one. But yeah, pretty cool stuff. That airstrip was neat. It was out by the Red Rock Canyon loop there that you can drive, and really pretty. There's a bunch of old timers that I guess owned or were members of the airfield, and they had their old school RC planes, and they were flying these cool little planes in between all these drones that the guys were messing with. It's pretty neat.
I see all this stuff happening with these quadcopters and drones. I kind of want to get one of those cheap, just $30 mini ones and mess
Those
around
ones
with
are
them.
terrible. I had one of those. I broke in 2 days. You need to get one of these $4,000 DJI.
Oh, shut up.
Yeah, a lot of the guys at the office here had some of those little mini helicopter things just flying around, pretty terrible stuff. Yeah, definitely go for one of the. Aren't they selling some of the more upscale drones now, like Best Buy? I can't remember the
Yeah,
there's a
probably.
popular one for $100.
Don't you want
out
to
there.
practice? Don't you want to practice on a small one though?
No, because the
that
bigger
seems-
ones are way easier to fly because they're all
Or a
like.
cheap one, a cheap one.
Do it outside.
Well, thank you. And I like how you guys were totally giving me shit earlier for my tea maker, and you're like, no, go out and buy the $4,000 drone. That makes total sense.
Well,
Of course.
The drone doesn't make me tea.
Does
The
your
drone
tea
does not make me
fly?
tea.
Does it have a camera on
I don't
The
know. I'm
drone
still
can
I'm
fly
still
your
exploring all the
tea to
features.
you,
It's in
though.
German.
it?
I can't help.
It's a good thing you speak German.
Yeah, it's very good, but I don't speak that German.
Ah, makes sense.
Yeah. So what's next?
Let's see. this micro USB cable capture device. Let's talk about that. Kind of cool.
Maybe.
Little tuner.
Yeah, this is a throwback. So it seems like it's only currently, just based on the picture, it's currently only PAL, so it's not NTSC yet. So it would really only work, probably in Australia, Europe. But supposedly, D-Link is going to be offering this in other markets as well. And I feel like you would need a device with a lot of storage, but if you had it, you could plug this little thing into your into your phone or tablet, plug the other end into your TV, and you could, I don't know, maybe use an old tablet as a DVR or something along those lines.
Yeah, they're using a Nexus 5, at least in the example image, although I don't know if that's Photoshop, but that's kind of funny.
I'm gonna guess it's Photoshop. But yeah, I mean, the only problem I see here is the same with all of these like USB OTG things that you see, is that it all comes down to the like the driver's support. If some phones don't have support for OTG, then it's probably not going to work, and it'll probably be hit or miss.
It looks pretty cool. I mean, it doesn't look like it's a huge honking device that plugs up to it. It's just a little dongle, as they say. So
These sorts of things do make me nervous, though. When you have, like, I don't know. I look at that, and all I see is the possibility of like it getting like smacked down and like tearing up your micro USB connector. All of a sudden, you can't charge your phone, and you got to tear it apart and resolder or some crap like that. I don't know. This kind of stuff makes me unsettled.
Yeah, but how much is it? Like, it's not. It can't be that unsettling. $40.
40 bucks, but if it screws up your phone, or your
40
tablet,
Australian bucks.
priceless.
40 Aussie dollars. No, it's a USD. They were quoting it.
Okay. Is that Australian dollars?
Yes, Australian United States dollars. That's exactly what
United
it is.
States of Australia.
That's pretty cool.
If it were, it would be cheaper. If it were 41 Australian dollars, it'd only be $33.48. So let's hope that you're right, Matt, even though you're not. Awesome. So let's see here. Oh, you know what? I think that one of you guys uses this. I swear I know this from an earlier show. Google is going to be shutting down Chrome to phone, as well as like some of the, I forget what it's called, but like the print within Chrome feature on Chrome on mobile. What do you guys think about that?
Yeah,
Do you still use it?
I've tried the Chrome tab sharing feature a while ago, but it wasn't reliable, at least for me, so I didn't stick with it. Plus, it wasn't something I used a lot. It's basically sending the URL, from my desktop browser to my phone. I used it like maybe a few times and just really lost interest. They've sort of integrated that functionality now into Chrome itself, so I guess this is kind of outmoded, or they're deprecating it as a result. So
Really? So how does that work built in? Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Matt.
I used it quite a bit before it was built into Chrome, but now you just use the recent tab thing, and that's like where all that stuff goes.
yeah,
The Chrome to phone app had some cool extra functionality, like for maps and stuff. Like if you had an address and you sent it to Chrome, or you sent it from Chrome to your phone, it would open it up in Maps and show you the address and stuff. It was useful for stuff like that, but then a lot of that just got incorporated into Chrome for Android, and then no more
So
support.
how does that work? You say it's integrated in Chrome for Android. So if I have something open up on my desktop, how do I get that to my phone?
it's synchronized automatically through Chrome. I haven't tried it in a long time, but from what I remember, it was basically.
I use it all the time on my phone. You just open up Chrome and you go to the dots, and you look for recent tabs.
Yeah.
And it'll
good
show
way.
you. I don't know if you can see this.
Yeah, it'll show you like which device, like mobile or whatever. So.
And then so it'll show you all your different devices, and then which tabs were open. I know that's terrible. Which tabs were open on what?
I would use it sometimes, like I'll be at my desk, at the house, and sometimes I would just want to relax in bed, so I get out my Chromebook and then use that. So
It's cool.
just
It'll like my all-in-one here, and then my Chromebook. Like all the tabs that I had open on any of them are just right there, and vice versa. Like if you go to Chrome here and into the hamburger or whatever, and into the recent tabs, it's right there.
or hot dogs or whatever it is this
Find a
month.
better name
Yeah.
for that.
Do you guys think that's as elegant a solution as just having Chrome to phone?
Yes, it's better.
It's
Is it?
better.
It's one less
Because
app.
it's just, yeah, and it's all Chrome. You just have Chrome, and that's just it. You don't have to open up a different app for that now.
And I mean, like Firefox does that too. They do like a Firefox sync type of service.
I
How?
still don't use Firefox Sync. A
Yeah,
lot of
no.
people I know do, but I don't. Yeah.
Exactly.
So Chrome, I can see Chrome doing it because they have you log in. Like you're logged into your Google account, and how is Firefox doing that?
Well, right,
I
but
don't remember there being.
it's the same thing. You have to go into settings of Chrome of your browser and make sure you're signed in to use all
Yeah.
of the sync
There's
function.
a yeah.
And they
there's
No,
a
I didn't know
sync
there
app.
was a Firefox sign-in.
Yeah,
Well,
and Firefox does the same thing.
Yeah, it's just called Sync. It's like a little section you go to, and you just sign in with your credentials. So
The icon is actually a little sink, like a kitchen sink. No, it's not.
Oh, that would have been nice.
now I'm disappointed. Now I'm sad.
Awesome. And like the other stuff, what they were saying, like print to my phone or whatever. Like you can do that with Cloud Print. I mean, it's kind of all this other functionality that wasn't there previous, so people made it there, and they got a good following because everyone wanted that same thing. Because everyone wanted that same thing, Google then incorporates it into their stuff, and there you go. And I
Well,
think
that's good.
Chrome to Phone was a 20% project, if I am remembering right. I might be wrong. I'm just making up stuff.
No, that's good. So, well,
Now
I see that's better because I was worried that they were taking away. I thought they were taking away features. No, it does. It says though that print to. So the feature the other feature you're talking about is print to my phone, which is in Cloud Print. So they're removing it from Cloud Print.
No,
I don't know. It
that's a
doesn't
new
even make
feature.
sense.
I've not used the old one, so I can't relate to that. But the new feature is built into Chrome, the Cloud Print feature. So, and again, I don't even use that. My wife's the only one that I know of that actually prints anything. But in theory, if you wanted to use that, you would just have Chrome open up, like on your desktop of choice or whatever, that is connected to a printer, and then you would print, that way. But the old method I've never used, so I can't relate to how that compared to this. I suspect it's probably similar to the Chrome to Phone feature compared to the new or recent, Cloud Print through Chrome feature. So, had to pull up my.
Yes. Chrome to Phone was a 20% project. I thought I heard that somewhere. Closure. That's what I'm talking about. Damn.
Yeah,
That's
one
lovely.
of the-
Right?
Yeah, one of the features I like with Chrome is I always use the bookmark feature. I have, the bookmarks for different devices. I just go to my desktop one, and that's where I keep like the majority of all my bookmarks. I always go to that. Anyways, sorry for the side rant. Just got distracted. These
Good.
phones, they do that.
Let's talk about this. The HP new 12-inch Android tablet. The Verge says kind of looks like a giant HTC One. It is kind of. It's got like the speakers on the sides. It's all silver with the black bevel.
It actually looks pretty attractive, but the downside is that one has like a 1600 by 1200 screen, so it's got like a lower DPI than this little 11-inch notebook that I've got. So, but it looks decent. So.
Yeah, that's the 12-inch one there in the picture. It is kind of cool. I think it's the case that's in it. Like it's very attractive. He has his little triangle drawing here, her little draft here, and then on the tablet there's the same draft. Like it's nice and organized.
Using the sines and cosines.
Right.
I mean, this person's a professional. I don't know.
Find a hypotenuse here.
the way that it is being presented, like it's being presented sort of as like, you know, if you were a businessman or a businesswoman, you would put this in your folio and you would take your notes on it. The presentation is very nice, though. I don't know. I think that I don't know. I think it looks cool. I don't see it as being like a killer product. And I think that most people have gotten to the fact that 12 inches is too much for them when it comes to tablet size.
There's a lot to handle, definitely. It comes with a Snapdragon 800 and 2 gigs of RAM. Kind of not what I would like to see a little more in a professional tablet workstation, personally, but, you know.
Yeah. I didn't catch the price on that, but what struck me as interesting about it was
the 8 is $449 and the 12 is $569. They're saying.
No.
Yeah, if I remember, the PPI on that was like 130 or something like that. But
that 12 is cheaper than what you're going to pay for a phone unsubsidized on a major carrier for like a tablet.
Yeah.
You're getting 12 inches here, you guys, for that price.
Some people will pay a lot for that.
Where else are you going to get
price per inch is pretty low. You're correct.
Yeah, I mean, it's no Subway, but you know.
Now it's running KitKat, which automatically, like right off the bat, it's like, why are we doing this? Yeah, I mean, it even says right here that HP wants to sell you an entire ecosystem of business accessories.
Oh, would you please?
Yeah, so they're bundled with the Duet Pen, which allows you to write on any surface and have that writing automatically appear on your tablet.
Whoa, wait, really? That's cool.
That's pretty cool, actually.
Okay, I'll give you that one, HP. That's pretty cool.
That is, honestly, that's my biggest complaint when it comes to styluses and tablets, is that, you know, even if you have the Wacom, whatever, like, screen, you can't get the same precision that you can get if you're just writing on a piece of paper with a pen or a pencil.
Right.
It's impossible.
It's close. I mean, Wacom is definitely close. But
it's close, but you still have this, like my Shield has that technology, and I was trying to mess with it to see. There's always, even with iPads, there's this it's a little bit of lag, and the lines are just because the thickness of the lines is based on the software and not based on the actual size of the end of your stylus. Like you're looking at it like, well, this doesn't make sense because the end of the stylus is this big and my line is only this big, and your brain does not compute. So something like this is actually pretty cool, even though I went into it trying to make fun of it.
So it's definitely make funnable, but it is cool because of the pen.
Well, two things I found interesting about this is, A, there are the two front-facing speakers, and we're finding more of these devices coming out, particularly tablets, with the front-facing speakers. And B, like this tablet, the 12, is actually a 4:3 ratio, like the iPad, and unlike most Android tablets. So it's interesting to me that we're seeing more and more Android tablets come out with the 4:3 ratio as opposed to the 16:10 ratio. So comparatively, it's only 16:12 compared to 16:10 if you just look at it on a same scale. So it's not a dramatic difference, but it is still a difference. And I guess a lot of these Android tablets haven't been as successful, so maybe some of the manufacturers are more open to the idea of different tablet screen sizes as well as framework, whatever you call it. So, but it does look like an attractive tablet, and some of the other tablets that they mentioned in the article are pretty decent too, and they talk in the article about how they have some Android and Windows tablets. But yeah, that right there, that's the pen. That's pretty awesome.
Did you guys see the tip of it? Like, look at just the tip of this pen. It's very thin, which makes you think that writing on any surface, it will show up right where you would expect it to, and not like Eric says, having the lag problem. That's pretty cool. Eric, look at the tip.
I'm looking at the tip. That's a mighty fine tip.
It's shaped nice.
Yeah. It looks like, well, I won't say what it looks like.
In other news,
looks better than the S Pen, so
that's not too difficult though.
Right. Did you guys see WhatsApp starting to kind of do like what the Twitter did back a while ago when they started kind of blocking APIs from certain third-party Twitter clients? I can understand this more for WhatsApp because it's not a platform that they wanted people to build on. It seemed like it was just like, here's what it does, and this is our thing. Like Twitter was a platform that people were encouraged to build on, and then got shut down.
And Twitter
So,
started out fairly open,
right.
Before it got really popular and took off, and then became a huge corporation at this point. But yeah, this was news to me. I was personally unaware of the third-party WhatsApp clients, but this
Yeah, I
article
didn't
kind
know
of
that
made
was
the
a
word.
thing. Like I don't
Yeah.
use WhatsApp. The last I heard, they had incorporated TextSecure's protocol into it for securing their messaging.
Yeah.
I didn't
And
know people,
that's
like there's one called WhatsApp Plus. That was the one specifically. Another one called WhatsApp MD was also affected.
Yeah,
So
now that you mentioned, now that you mentioned, just like that article, we talked about this before. That's probably WhatsApp trying to increase their security profile and things of
right.
that nature. I mean, they're the biggest app of its nature in the world, and others are trying to keep up. So it's kind of cool that they're focusing on staying ahead of the curve as far as security. And like the apps mentioned in this article, none of them were like in the Google Play Store, for example. And I don't know if they had similar, if they're in the iOS store, but apparently you could sideload them if you had an Android, device. But it's interesting to see that they're pulling the plug on these third-party apps.
Yeah, and that is a big difference between that and the Twitter thing. Like those apps were in the Play Store, they were totally legit. They just got like none of these for WhatsApp were in the Play Store. Like you said, they had to be sideloaded and all that. So probably not a good thing.
There's
Twitter
also a
had
little
an
bit of
API.
yeah.
Like that's like Twitter
Also.
had an API. They wanted you to do this until they decided they didn't want you to do this.
That
was
they
a
realized, well, the third-party apps were becoming successful for Twitter, and a lot of them weren't hosting Twitter's ads. So I mean, what could you do? And I guess Twitter only slightly more gracefully ended it, cut out support because they allowed the 100,000 tokens or whatever. WhatsApp was like done. So
Yeah, I still find that irritating that there could be a really nice third-party Twitter client out there, but you can't get it because we don't have enough tokens. Like, screw Twitter. I do not like that. I feel like they sort of pulled the rug out from under people who made them successful. But that's them. This WhatsApp thing is just this seems like I think we may have talked about it, even though it's more iPhone based. I think there was an app it might have been for Android that allowed you to do iMessage back and forth, but it's like, no, just sign in with your Apple ID to our little server here in China, and it's no problem. And it worked, but probably wasn't the best idea.
yeah, I think we discussed that a few months ago. Yeah, nice little man-in-the-middle app, I'm sure.
It was probably quite literally a man in the middle. Like they would get your message, and then they'd very quickly type it up and send it on an actual iPhone.
That's so awesome. That is so not secure whatsoever.
Nah.
It's pretty much the opposite of being secure.
But that's fine because your iMessage got to where you wanted it to go.
Well, and that is the important thing if that's what you were trying. Also talking about messengers and stuff, their article on Android and Me, Facebook has big plans for Messenger in 2015, like voice to text and ads. Are you ready for ads in Messenger?
Oh,
yeah,
man.
I don't have enough ads for any Facebook apps. More ads, please.
I'm not noticing them as much anymore on the app on Android. Like there used to be like annoying ads in your timeline and stuff. I'm not really getting those anymore. So I don't know. Maybe I turned something off. I will definitely stop using Messenger if ads start, being annoying.
I don't really notice the ads either, but it's mainly because I don't use Facebook or Facebook Messenger. So
and voice
you have
to
that option.
Like doesn't your keyboard already do that? Why I don't get why you need to have it internal to Messenger, except to have it record all of your messages. But it can do that anyway.
You got it.
You don't need to have it listen. Like that's just weird.
If they're trying to build up their own text-to-speech library, though, like the
right.
Google
the
has
voice samples.
Yeah, exactly. You had Goog 411 in
Yeah.
the past. I think they shut that down, but the whole point of Goog 411 was so that way they could capture your utterances. They could, sometimes have somebody physically just like sit down and listen to them and tweak their algorithm, make it better. And that's why Google Voice Recognition is so good.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I can imagine that Facebook is probably looking to do something similar. So that way, I don't know, maybe like someday in the future you can just,
Yeah. I don't know
talk to
how well
Facebook.
that would implement into their graph. They have their own kind of, built-in search functionality, and they have their own graph feature built into Facebook. So maybe that data would be entered in the graph somehow.
You'll be
So
able to search for voices pretty soon. Does this sound
Uh,
like a voice in your head?
Like
Yeah.
face recognition, just for voice recognition?
Voice right. Yeah, totally.
Why not?
That'll be neat.
Your friend was talking shit about you. We confirmed it was him
Did it
or
sound like this? Well, well, that's good. I mean, Facebook, they need to make money, right? I mean, not
do.
not making enough. So that's cool. Field Trip got an update finally with a little material design love. You guys use Field Trip anymore? I kind of uninstalled it quite a while ago, so I don't really mess with it. But
I uninstalled it because I didn't have room on my phone.
right.
But I really do like Field Trip when it works, and I talked a little bit about Field Trip in my the article that I wrote for And last week. I think it did. There are some really nice features of Field Trip, but I don't know, unless you're. I think it's one that you install when you're traveling somewhere. You don't leave on your
Right.
phone all the time.
Yeah, it can get big, definitely, depending on what you're looking at.
Mhm.
yeah, I would say also if you're just kind of curious, hey, what's this place like? What's that place like that? And you don't really travel a lot. I think alternatively that could be something for someone. But for me, I mean, I'm inside so much. I would probably benefit from using that so much, but I don't travel as much. So I guess it all depends on who would use it and what they would use it for.
I think too, if you move to a new city, like if
Yeah.
that something like this would be really good, like an easy way to sort of explore, just by I don't know, riding the bus or whatever. If you're around, like it's really good at noticing, oh, you're near this, and then giving you more information if you want it.
All sleek and modern.
Right.
That's Niantic Labs, yeah, that they did Ingress. Wasn't Field Trip was their first thing.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that was one of them preceded the other, but yeah, that I forgot about that. Man, that's good catch on that.
This was one of those things too that would have been awesome for Google Glass. Eric, we should talk about Glass just real quick.
Yeah, sure.
I'll tell you, at CES, not this last time, but before that, the year before, you couldn't look at somebody without seeing Glass. It was very pervasive. It was everywhere. It was ubiquitous, is the word, not pervasive. This
That was
year,
nice.
I did not see one until
Really?
day 4, and then I saw one, and I looked at the kid, and he looked back at me, and he totally took them off and put them away. It was
You saw
he was
shame.
awful.
You shamed him to take his glass off?
No, I didn't. But I only saw one. It was odd. Is that telling of something that might be happening, or what is going on? Do you have your glass?
Yeah. I have my glass, and I wrote, it'll be in the show notes, I wrote an article for a new domain last week because there was an announcement from Google that they were no longer going to be offering the Explorer Edition beginning yesterday, the 19th. I think that was the last day. So, yeah, here you go. Here's the glass.
Now, that's the Explorer Edition. Does that mean we can expect a public edition soon, or did they decide that it was watches and not glasses?
Well, this is where I think that a lot of the news outlets were sort of, kind of being dishonest, frankly, is that Google, and they announced, and they also sent out an email to all of the Glass Explorers saying that Glass was moving over to the team that does Nest, and that here I'm going to pull up the actual.
While you're doing that,
Email.
I'll give give you a little anecdote while I was down there. I ended up in an Apple store at the Forum shops in Caesar's Palace. Never been in an Apple store before. So I'm like looking at all this stuff. On the wall, they have Nest in there, which I thought was interesting. I don't know if that's normal.
It may have been installed before the Google purchase, but yeah.
Yeah, but I mean new ones. But yeah, I don't know. I thought it was kind of odd that they were selling that there.
It is kind of weird. Nest is on the Google Play Store, but not Glass, and it's being moved over to the Nest team. So, but yeah, I do think we're going to see more Glass in the future, but just because of deprioritizing the Explorer Edition, maybe they sold them all, and they're going on to the next one. It's like, last year, 1 year ago, to about the day today, we covered, that glyph, Elegant glyph, device, and it looks dramatically different than what it was a year ago. Who's to say Glass isn't looking dramatically different, isn't more refined, than what it was a year ago? And if you look at Glass today, everyone now is carrying smartphones with much better optics than that. And now we're getting into these camcorders and professional cameras that do 4K and 1080p 60, and Glass can't do that. So I think that's part of the reason why Glass is being deprioritized, because it just can't keep up with the new technology of today that everyone's carrying around. So that's just my little side rant.
I mean, I think you're right, and I found the email that that Google sent. So they sent an email, subject line being "Thanks for exploring with us," and it said that they have graduated from Google X Labs, which is where it was.
You're a sucker. Thanks for the 1,500.
And well, they said that they're working on future versions of Glass, and that they'll be released when they're ready. So, to me, that says I'm not going to see something this year. But I don't think that Glass is dead.
Are you expecting free? Like a free upgrade because you're in the Explorer program, or are you expecting to have to pay $1,000 for this next set?
Yeah. I don't think the next one's going to be $1,000. I still think that their target. I think their target has to be under $500. It has to be. I don't think that there's unless there's a professional version that's just meant for some of these small things that I talked about in the article. Like Google Glass was being used by surgeons for educational purposes. So that way they could record what they're doing. They could show it to students, who are trying to learn from them. So I could see there being like a high resolution, more precise version that costs more money for medical professionals. I could see there being a more expensive version, like a ruggedized version for people that maybe are using it out in the field, like the folks in Nepal were using to track wildlife.
I like that.
Because these things really are not. It freaks me out when I wear them sometimes. Like when I was in Cambodia, I was really freaked out because like I'm out in the jungle. I'm climbing up these buildings, and all I'm thinking to myself is all of those pictures I saw on Google Plus, where like the arm that has all the electronics in it just snaps in half, or the little prism thing like explodes. Like this was truly beta.
You know what I heard? If you take a laser pointer and you shine it at that thing, it explodes.
It does not.
If you take a green laser pointer, if you take a blue one.
And this is the problem. Like you see, like there's a picture. I'm looking at this email. There's a picture of a guy who's skydiving with his glass. I would never do that. That's stupid.
Would you skydive though?
No, that's stupid.
Well, there you go. So
that's what the GoPro is for.
The fact that he's wearing glass or not is mute at this point, because you wouldn't do it either way. I wouldn't either. You would probably have to push me out of the plane, but
well,
if I did, I would wear glass and have a GoPro. I'd have 6 GoPros in a 360 Hero thing that would make a giant photosphere of me jumping out of a plane.
I do see this as being... Go ahead, Nick.
I was going to say, personally, I have a little bit more of a positive outlook. I actually think we might see Glass 2.0 announced by Google I/O, and it may be a product available by holiday season. That's my personal guess, because I think they've had a year to keep developing it. They've actually had this same model essentially in use for 2 years, maybe even a little bit more than 2 years. So I think they've gotten to the point where they've got something else, and it'll come out. But maybe I'm too optimistic, but that's my bet, is that we'll see that this year.
Do you think the people that didn't jump on the Explorer version are the more optimistic ones because they are waiting for a Gen 2 and something better than what everyone that was like, oh, I'm just going to get this now and drop 15 on it? Like, I feel like they are, other than our Eric here, of course. No one's more optimistic than Eric. But I feel like that's the tone kind of that. And of course, news outlets want to say that it's dead because it makes headlines and crap like that. Like, nothing's ever dead. Come on.
Yeah. Well, we haven't heard a lot about it, recently, and even the guy that really has headed up Glass has not been wearing it as much. But Sergey Brin. But it is interesting to see that collectively you're not seeing as much. Even like Jason Howe at the Twit, factory, you might say. He doesn't use it as much. We're not seeing it as much by press. And as you mentioned in CES, it wasn't used that often. So, yeah.
It has. I feel like it has limited use. Where it shines, it really shines. Like it can be a really good product. And I don't know, Nick. I don't know that necessarily we'll see it even announced at I/O. There's been a lot of talk about Project AotA, and the fact that they announced that they're going to be going live with that in Puerto Rico. I think that when it comes to hardware, aside from maybe a phone or a tablet, I think that their focus is going to be on Project AotA this year, and that we're not going to see anything until at least next year. My hope, though, is that what I'd like to see would be it to look like regular glasses with maybe the electronics in the rim. The chunky back, yeah, I think it makes sense for, given the time and place, but technology-wise, I think that they can do better now, like given that they've had a few
I would
years.
also say that Nest is a company that, I don't know, I would say if it's been turned over to Nest, that they're probably going to actually be charged now with making the next device as well, because that's what they do. They prototype their thermostat, but they eventually sold it. So same thing with their fire alarm. So this may be their third big project. It's handled by them instead of Google. So.
Well, I'm hoping too I'm really hoping for a better processor, because this Glass is still basically a Galaxy Nexus strapped to the side of your head.
Yeah.
And that is, it's really starting to show.
I in there, right? Something.
Yeah, like you need better guts, because it is laggy. It was getting laggy 6 months ago, and when I did an update on it when I was writing the article, because I hadn't worn it for a while, and it's still laggy. It's not as snappy as it used to be, which is disappointing. Like I'm telling you, when it works, like when everything's sort of like firing at the same time, like it's great. The voice recognition is awesome.
It works.
It is one of those things that that's what really disappointed me, is that it got the quality of the experience got worse over time.
And we noticed that with everything Android, it seems like. I don't know if it's just bad memory chips they're using or what, but like the longer you have it, it just gets slower. It's weird.
Well, part of that is due to NAND flash, but I think like with Google Glass, I'm going by memory here, but I had an Atrix 2 and had the same processor as that, an OMAP 4430, very similar to what's in the current Moto 360 smartwatch, and the display is QHD, the 540 by 960 resolution, and that was really being phased out, 2 years ago with something like the Atrix 2 and the Nexus that he was mentioning. So it's like technology has moved on, but glass has stayed the same, and up until the other day was the same price at $1,500, and really it needs to move on, and they just need to come out with the version 2.0 thing. But with all the fanfare they put into it for more than 2 years, I think it's time for them to take it to the next level or declare that it's dead. Like a lot of their other projects, that they've buried over time. So.
And it looks like that's what's happening, right?
Yeah, one or the other, and hopefully we'll find out sooner rather than later what's actually going on. So.
The
But as Eric
messaging though
mentioned,
is different. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead, Nick.
No, I was going to say, as you had mentioned, if they're moving it over to Nest, it does sound like development is going to continue, and they're not, burying it. So.
Yeah, they moved it. The thing is, they moved it to the hardware division, and that's that. Like, if they just said, "Oh, we're going to be continuing Google Glass with other projects," like I used the example in the article about Google Wave. Like with Google Wave, it was pretty apparent that it was dead, and you can see sort of little ghosts of Google Wave in a lot of the Google products now, like Drive, Hangouts. But with this, I think they could take some things from Glass and integrate it into other products or different products, future products, things we haven't seen. But the idea of Glass, the idea of something that goes directly to your eye, whether it's in glass form or if it's in contact form, like some of the other like Google X projects they've talked about. I don't think that's going away.
Did you see this? You were talking about Project AotA. Did you see that they're going to start their trials for it this year? This picture is pretty cool. I wanna show you. Need to show you this picture.
Yeah, they're using it like Latin America, right?
Yeah.
Puerto Rico.
Look at that thing. Look at it. So cool.
That's pretty awesome. I think this is one of those things that Google's on the leading edge on that I think has the potential to just blow up.
Like
some
not
people
filling up landfills with old smartphones every year or two. I think just that alone is like awesome.
Well, and maybe this is like too maybe this is too like pie in the sky thinking, but it's sort of like when we had the space program and we forced ourselves to kickstart technology and make things smaller and make better use of space. I feel like that happened with Project AotA too.
Yeah.
Like these people had to learn how to shrink things down so small and segregate things in such a way that they can be modular, that even if this project is a failure, all of the side benefits that they got out of it, probably even on the patent side, I think that this is going to be a win for them in the end.
Yeah, particularly the patents. That seems to be the primary driver for a lot of these big companies like Google, Apple, Samsung, etc. So yeah.
And if you think about like the way that we buy components currently, like you said, Matt, like we're not filling up landfills. But if I had a Motorola phone and I wanted to upgrade the camera, I could pay $100 or $150 for the official camera upgrade, or maybe I just go on eBay or some site and buy like a cheap knockoff from China for $50. Like I hate the use of the word disruptive, but I truly think this could be a disruptive change when it comes to smartphones. Like it. I'm really excited.
The cheap ones have malware in them, and they watch you all the time. So maybe it is worth spending that extra $30.
Doesn't matter. I got nothing to hide. I saved $100.
That's right.
I can buy another tea maker.
Stare at my dumb phone all day. Watch me. This is kind of cool. You guys remember Xiaomi? They have a $16 Bluetooth controller. Looks like a Sony PS4 controller, kind of. I don't know. I like these. I like these Bluetooth controllers like this so that you can play games on your phone and tablet and everything. Also, this one has a cool 3-axis gravity sensor in it, so it's like it knows which way it is. But yeah, it's pretty cool, and it'll be compatible, it says, with stuff like Android TV or pretty much anything Bluetooth.
Wow, that's only like that's like $15, 15, 16
right?
bucks. That's
99 Juan. That's
Juan.
Juan.
But
Yeah, it
let us
looks
not
pretty
forget
nice.
the quality of gamepads that we've seen, in the past 3 years.
Yeah.
Like the
Yeah,
the Ouya controller, all these like cheap.
this is Hugo wouldn't make garbage.
Please, Hugo sold out. Hugo cashed the check.
Ooh,
It really does feel like they just sort of like trot him out in front of the stage every once in a while when they're announcing a new phone. Like, does he really do
has their
anything?
stuff not gotten better? The company has gotten more profitable since then.
I don't know. Maybe we should get one and find
Eric.
out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Eric,
I
I'm
will
telling you.
say this: he's probably a good subject matter expert for Android phones. So
Like one of the most profitable or most worth the most in tech startups in this last round of funding. I just know that because it was on episode of Breaking Android.
Ooh,
yeah, I
on
mean he introduced
breakingmodern.com.
They are doing
both Nexus 7 tablets at their releases, and we haven't seen anyone really debut these kind of things. They're like, hey, we're just going to do this online. So it's like he obviously has some presentation skills, and I really haven't found anyone at Google to replace him. So I don't know. He's probably pulling his weight over there in China.
and these things are totally sold out, so you can't even get one. But
Yeah, but
Yeah, I mean, I
still
think they're sold
like
out
that.
because what other choice do you have in China? Like, I don't doubt that the hardware is better. Like, the hardware is probably on par with Oppo and some of those other ones we've seen. But I can tell you after using an Oppo phone for a year that the performance went down, and that's just what you get when you have these cheap, high-quality phones. They're cutting costs somewhere, and just from using the phone, the cost cutting is obviously in the internal components, and it shows. Which if you're gonna just ditch your phone after a year, that's fine. But if if it pisses you off that you buy buy a not cheap nice phone and you get performance degradation so quickly, then maybe you don't want to buy a Xiaomi or an Oppo.
yeah, maybe it's just a problem with this kind of memory because I
Yeah,
don't. My Moto X isn't any better or worse than those, and it does the same damn thing. I'm pretty sure that's what it is.
Yeah.
Poop.
I'm sort of and like I said, maybe I should just get a Xiaomi phone just to try, but it feels like one of those things, like especially with the Oppo, like you get it, you're excited. Like I felt that at the time, if you go back and listen to past episodes, that maybe like Chinese manufacturing had turned a corner and it wasn't all it didn't have to be all this like chintzy crap that I
3D
had been seeing from living in Asia. What's that?
Cheap 3D printed plastic.
It sometimes it feels like that. Like you hold some of these phones, especially in if you're in Asia where you're just surrounded by this stuff, you hold these phones and it feels cheap. You turn them on and everything just is so slow and the screens are made of plastic, not glass. Like it's nasty. So you're sort of tricked you're tricked into thinking when you're holding one of these high quality Chinese manufactured phones that it's different, when in reality I don't think it's that much different.
also they use things like MediaTek processors and small resolution screens and stuff like that. So it just depends on that region. We're sort of in a good shape being in the States, and that we can get high-end hardware, although for a pretty hefty price. But yeah, it does seem like in many cases, they're cutting costs on the storage. So
Yep. Let's see. What do you guys want to end with? You want to talk about some games? Smartphone tablets? Smartphones? You want to talk about Borderlands?
Yeah, sure. Let's talk about Borderlands.
All right. Tales from the Borderlands coming to Android. I never got that into Borderlands. My girlfriend plays it on the Xbox. I tried to get into it. It's like too cartoony for me. I can't do it. I don't know.
Cartoony in what way? Like, do you simply mean the art style, or are you talking about
Just
like the
the
humor
style
level
of
and
the
stuff?
gameplay, like it feels very. And I don't know. That might be my bad from playing things like Last of Us and Destiny and all that on the PS4, and then reverting to trying to play, the new Borderlands on.
Yeah, it looks like cell shaded stuff that they're doing for
Yeah, and
Borderlands.
it's a cool style. It's not. I couldn't get into it. I don't know. I probably just didn't give it a chance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think that you yeah, I think you have a point. The art style, I've never really liked cell shading, quite honestly. Um,
It's all right. I mean, for what it is, it's cool.
Now, this type of game, like the Borderlands, all the Borderlands games are first-person shooters, and this is a Telltale game. So similar to The Wolf Among Us, which we talked about a few shows ago, or the Walking Dead, which was probably the most famous Telltale game. So this is sort of like it puts you in a situation you have to quickly make a choice, and all your choices have consequences. Has your girlfriend, has she bought this? Has she played it?
No, not yet. I don't believe so.
Hmm.
We'll have to check it out and see. Because I'm not going to get into it.
Yeah, it looks like this is a point-and-click version of that type of game. It uses the same type of graphics, I guess, but
Yeah, like Dragon Slayer was way back in the day, right? Where you had to get the knight through the dragon cave thing, and you had to like move the control or the stick at certain times and make the click the button now, and if you
yeah, I grew out of those games a long time ago, and unfortunately in the Commodore 64 era and early Nintendo type games. So
Well, Nick, I will say I loved The Wolf Among Us, and I played that 100% on the Android tablet. I thought it was great. The problem is, for me, I just kind of like I played through The Wolf Among Us in a long weekend. I think it was worth the money that I paid, because if you wait a little bit, and you don't buy the season pass up front, like eventually it'll go on sale and it'll be cheaper. But I sort of lose my desire to play games like this. Like I have to I could do them in spurts. I can't just only play this type of game.
real quick.
Yeah. It's also worth noting that Telltale also released their Game of Thrones game on Android within the past month too. So I don't think we had a chance to talk about that. So they've released two games with two pretty high-profile properties, all within a month or two of each other.
Wiener party, wiener party. That's every time I hear Game of Thrones now. That's all I think about from that South Park episode.
Okay.
Wiener party. Yeah. Anyway, sorry. I'm sure this season's gonna be fantastic or whatever.
Do you not watch Game of Thrones?
No, I do. I'm just after watching that South Park, they're pretty right. Like it's just been a big wiener party.
What are you talking
It was fine, whatever.
about? It's okay.
And then the dragons? No. And then the wieners. Yeah. All right. Anything else you want to plug that article that you wrote? Eric?
Yeah. Go ahead. If you go over to anewdomain.net, you can catch the article that I wrote, which is called "Dear Ex-Google Glass Explorers, Don't Give Up Yet."
That's nice. That's
Maybe
nice.
I'm not as. If I came across negative, I'm actually pretty positive about Google Glass. But go ahead, check it out.
Negative, blame the editors.
Yeah. No, I mean in this episode. But yeah, if you don't like the article, blame the editors. That's all.
We'll post Eric's uncut article, full length uncut on the site.
How I really feel.
That's right.
And there's a little surprise in there, a photo that if you guys have forgotten about, I think you'll like. Right-click, save
I thought
as.
I forgot about it until I saw it. Then I wish I didn't see it again. So thanks.
Unfortunately, it was cropped too high.
Never forget. Wiener party. All right.
See, that
Nick,
is a-
you got any unboxings or any reviews you've done recently? I'll tell you, I was at the HTC thing there, and they had giant Rees set up, like
Yeah.
ones that look like summer. I don't know. Those cameras are kind of cool. No, I can't pay $200 for one though. But like after actually being able to handle one,
Yeah.
say we work for a site that's
Yeah.
kind of run by HTC, but like it is kind of cool. And I saw an article. I talked about this on the last Breaking Android 12. It'll be up I think tomorrow. But there's this article that compared them to a GoPro. And as far as like sensors and megapixels and everything, like what the Re gives you for the $200 price point, you would have to get like the top of the line GoPro, which is at 400, I think, and still that's only a 12 megapixel, whereas the Re is 16. And of course,
Yeah.
it's not just the megapixels and stuff; it's the sensors and everything. But it seems like for the price, it's expensive for what it is. But then when you compare it to other stuff that you could use instead of that, like this thing
Yeah.
has a bunch of different mounts, like a GoPro and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Like
As a camera itself, it compares favorably to the GoPro. But
Yeah.
in terms of, or at least the highest end one, even the highest end one. But as far as video performance, it only does 1080p at 30, 720p at 30, and it does 720p at 120 frames a second, but only for the slow-mo usage. And I did a review on it a month ago, and one of my criticisms of it is that there's not a 720p 60 frames per second version, and also the version I had was defective, and I paid $100 for it. I bought it from the HTC Hot Deals site and was not able to get a replacement for it. I had to send it back and buy a new one.
what was
And at
wrong?
the time, there was something loose near the microphone port that was noticeable only when you put it in the car mount. So when you're driving, you hear this rattling sound over and over. And that's detailed in my video series and one of the criticisms I leveraged against it. But for me personally, at $100, I would buy it again. And when it does become $100 at whatever point, the next time I see it for that, I will buy it again. But for $200, like you, I can't see purchasing it. And in my case in particular, I bought it for $100, cannot buy it again yet for $100. So waiting for it to come down. I'm not going to buy it for $200 when I already bought it for $100.
Yeah.
So it makes it even worse
100,
sense for me.
I would probably drop 100 on one, maybe.
So for me as a YouTuber that wants to do some vlogging, it's easier to hold as opposed to a phone. So I won't bore you to tears with
And
all
it's
this.
got a wider view. It's got a
It's got a
wider.
wider view. It's much easier to hold. It's half as light as this, and it'll still do 1080p, 30 frames a second. And it's got mounts that you can use. So there's advantages for doing it, but it's too expensive. So
Nick,
I'll let it.
If you would buy it again, well, two questions. So if you buy it again at $100, why did you return it? Or are you
Because
saying
it
that
was
only
defective.
your unit was defective?
My unit was defective, and the reason I was able to determine that was I watched other people with their Rig cameras put in the mount that's used on the windshield, the suction mount, and they did not have that noise, whereas mine did. And mine, I could duplicate it by just shaking it like that, and no other audio that I heard by anyone else had that. So, but unfortunately, the HTC Hot Deals site does not do replacements. They only do returns, and they offer their sales for one day only. So
Wait, so you're telling me that if you buy something off of HTC Hot Deals, there is no warranty with that?
there is the thing is there's probably a warranty you could use for the product itself, but what I'd have to do is send it, go through an RMA process and then wait however long to get a replacement. So
Oh, I see. Okay, so you could have still done a replacement and gotten.
yeah, and well, the thing is also when you're dealing with an RMA for replacement, most of the times you're not getting a brand new one, you're getting a refurbished one. So someone else's damaged one potentially I could have gotten. So
which is apparently what I'm getting with my Shield tablet. So that's great.
Yeah. So I just don't want to go down that road. I figure, on a matter of principle, can't do that. So, anyways.
Fair
Nice.
enough.
Right on. Well, thank you guys and girls for listening every week. Now, new year, attackoftheandroids.com. Subscribe on iTunes and all that fun stuff. We're on Stitcher. Of course, got a Google Plus page and a YouTube channel. So make sure to check that out. Thanks for listening. It's Eric. That's Nick. And I'm Matt. We'll talk to you guys next time. Have a great week.
Bye.
Bye-bye.